Hello and welcome back to my channel. We are in the arena today getting ready for doing a bit of a schooling exercise for all the ponies. I wouldn't call it a jump, more of a pole exercise. So it's super windy. I'm going to harrow the arena and get this exercise put out. See you in a tick.
Life goes up and it goes down. I know my mom taught me that. I figured why we fool around so little, and we keep track of time, being so serious, idiots, thinking it will matter, keep me company downtown.
Right then, it's still very windy. Let's go get some ponies ready. That's the exercise. A circle to ride through, a related distance where I can hopefully adjust strides if they're compliant, and then over here canter poles on a turn. So we'll see what we make of that. My intention is to ride everybody through this exercise, Donut, Titan and Maggie, and I think I will start off with the person who's furthest along in their schooling, like getting fit this year. So we're gonna go and get Maggie ready, and hopefully my mum will arrive to do camera woman duties. Let's hope.
Before the clock runs out, sun is shining but the rain is welcome too. Friends are nearby, don't need another view. Time is not on my mind, but then it's you. Oh, I love it when the love comes around, and then I remember all things must pass. But I'm not gonna wake up, I'm not ready, let me have another day. Don't wake up, keep it steady, cause I'm happy, I'm not gonna wake up. No, not yet, whoa, no, not yet, whoa, no, not yet, whoa. I'm afraid I'll end up nowhere.
Okay then guys, so you've seen a few clips of Maggie working in, and I was just sort of finishing off our work in here, making sure that she's over her back and listening to me doing transitions, turns, circles, and as you can see here, a little bit of on and back. The on is certainly a lot easier than the back at the minute with Miss Maggie, but she is always this fresh at the start of the season, and I must admit it is very nice to feel, albeit quite tiring to ride sometimes. Okay, so another change of rein and another canter transition. She's fairly off the aids, not as compliant as I'd like her, but probably more compliant than you'll remember when you saw her in the arena at home last. A little bit on and a little bit back. So then we went and did a little bit of a circle because I thought, right, let's make sure she really listens to me, and that actually just made her simmer down a little bit. And then I do believe that we go and start our exercise. Yes, so we've started with the 3 poles in the corner. They're at canter stride, but I started off by trotting her over them, and it's just good for them to pick where their feet are going. As you can see, she's very forward thinking today and really wanting to crack on. I found it interesting to take her over the poles both ways and figure out which way she bent easier and which way she just lifted over the poles easier. So you can have a watch and assess both ways and see what you think. Now, I think she drifted to the right there over the last pole, and I wanted to kind of stem that and make sure that we were staying at the same point all the way through. So I think I tried to make sure I adjusted it here. And as you can see, she was closer to the inside blue line of the pole than the outside. And all the time I was trying to be conscious of my position and not looking down. And then we've changed the rein and we've come to give them a little go in canter. So let's see how this goes. Wow, that's exciting, isn't it, Maggie? Okay, so it was all right, but we got a change of leg as we went over the last ones that I've had to correct now. I also ended up looking down as I go over the poles. So come round again, try and do it a bit better, Evie. Bit better. Position's not as strong as I would like it, but no change of canter lead, and I didn't look down as much. Let's have another go on the other rein. So a quick walk, and then I picked the canter up again and established it before coming down the poles this way. Bear in mind she drifted right last time, and look, it happened again once we were in the canter. So I was a bit better in my position, I'd say. A big thing Tina would be telling me off for is lifting in my seat. So I need to say sat down more. And we were more central, but I still stood up. I just have this natural thing of standing up in my stirrups. Okay, little walk. I think we'll be going on to the next exercise now. Okay, so this exercise is the 4 points of the circle with a pole. So I've just picked Maggie's canter back up and I'm looking to ride round all 4 poles, but look how excited we are. And at this stage, I think I remembered I'd forgotten Maggie's martingale. And then I think at this stage, I don't know if you remember me talking about my ligament in my ankle clicked over. So I decided, rather than waiting for it to come back and settle down, I'd have a whirl without stirrups. And this actually became a bit of a theme for the day because you never know when you're going to lose a stirrup or not. So dropping your stirrups is not a bad thing to do. And I sat pretty tight and Maggie wasn't bothered about the stirrups bouncing on her sides, which you can see I'm quite pleased with. And I'm just there trying to pop my tendon back and obviously giving it a little bit more time by the looks of it. This is the reality of riding with an injury, guys. We work with it. It's no biggie. So giving it another try. Last time around the circle, we ended up on the wrong leg. And look again, she's changed lead. And I've picked up my stirrups. This is a really, really good thing to try. And once I've picked up my stirrups, I've been able to influence her lead more, as you'd notice. Changed over that one. Changed back over this one. This isn't intentional. Every time she changed, I was like, no, we're going to change back to the correct lead. And like I say, dropping your stirrups and picking them up when you're jumping around, even though this happened by accident today because of my ankle, it's actually a really good thing to do because you never know what's going to happen, whether you're going to lose all of your knitting or whether you're going to lose a stirrup, and you don't want to end up with a run out or falling off just because you haven't done the prior prep of actually making sure you're balanced without some of the aids. Okay, so you'll have just seen that I've also stopped, had a little chat with the people that are around and given Maggie a quick breather before changing the rein and picking her up to go this way. So now just take a look at where I'm looking. I'm riding to the pole and then I'm looking to the next pole, just letting her get in a rhythm and she picks her stride. So always looking on to the next bit. This is as much training for me to not dwell on the fence I'm jumping as for her to pick where her feet are going, regardless of the stride. Even a little doff one there, we do that, we rebalance, and we go on to the next bit. Looks like I'm dropping my stirrups here. Okay, untidy, but just let her regain her balance, let her sort herself out. I try and keep my centre of balance, and then let's ride 2 again. 1, 2. Good. Little bit onward bound, but not quite as Larry, and she picks a better shot. So then took a moment to compose myself, and then coming back around again to do it with the stirrups, and just keeping looking, trying to steady Maggie as and when I can, but keep my hands low and not get into too much of a battle with her. She's quite a stubborn mare, and she will really try and push to have her own way. So at this stage, I think this was the point when I was thinking, let's change tactics. She's not settling down, just doing the poles. So let's just come round And I believe it's now, yeah, and let's do a circle. She can't just lock on and jump the 2-inch high pole whenever she fancies. So now we're making a bit of a, bit of a 4-leaf clover within the circle. And she's really starting to now come back and listen, because she's going, am I doing the pole or am I circling? And now she's got to bend. Now I can get my outside leg on her. And that's just helping. We're even dropping to trot a little bit, but that's okay. My shoulders are occasionally coming forward, so that's something I need to work on. I'm really making sure I look after the outside aids. We've changed lead. I change her back there. And then we do another circle. And I think I did this for a little while, just while she simmered down. She got quite hot doing it. It's not an easy task. But we are now not quite as locked in the neck as we go down and do all 4. Not perfect still. Training isn't about perfection. It's about working on it and improving it. But it's a whole lot better for doing the circles. And I think I got a bit warm by this point, so I needed to take a layer off. So going back off again to do it once more on this left rein. Pick up the canter. I should have maybe redone that transition. That wasn't as smart as I would have liked it to be. And then just adding a circle in, just a bit of a reminder. I think her frame's starting to look better now. She's starting to come more uphill, sitting on her hocks a little bit more, waiting for me. And it's a better way of going. I would still like her better again. I know if these fences were like 90 a metre, she would actually respect it so much more. But this is why we need to train her while it's at this lower height, because she should respect the basics before actually going up and jumping higher. It's not all about the height. Right then, another mini walk, pick up the canter. Let's go do it the other way now. So it was quite leery the other way, so I wonder if I do my circles this way. Just coming 1, 2. This is so much better already. Still a little bit opinionated, but actually, hop and a skip, but actually pops around quite well. Good girl. You can see how the exercise is really just making her think and come back to me. And now we're adding the circles in. And again, we've got to bend around my inside leg, then use my outside leg to straighten. And then I've got to look to where I'm going. So it's quite a quick thing. This is only a 20-metre circle that these poles are on. So we're only doing like a 10, 15-metre circle in the middle. And it's really started to make her listen. Now I can see the Maggie that she's going to be and how smart she can be. It's just taken a little bit of a while, a bit of quiet persistence, just to settle down and do it properly. Good girl. Okay, so now we're going on to the stride adjusting, and I'll let you listen to the original audio for this.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, that was more forward. So we'll have 6. 6. Bit more energy. Don't let the energy go, because that's... To collect, you still need energy. And now we'll have 4.
Do it again. That's the next one. Do it again.
That's that job done.
So that's Maggie's session done. Last time I tried to do the adjustment with her, there was no compliance whatsoever. So that in itself shows the big improvement just throughout this session alone. And as you can see, I'm just letting her stretch down over her back before I walk her off. Next pony in the ring is lovely Titan, who I also happen to call Beastie quite a lot. I've already worked him in, so I'm literally going to do the same routine on all 3 horses. So he's having a little trot over the poles, and then we'll have a little bit of a canter, I think. So for him, a big thing is to get him bending and to get him forwards. He's very lazy at home. And I believe he was grunting over these. Not like it's a massive effort, but, you know, a bit of something. So I'm asking him to bend to the inside and to look round as we go. Good. I'm looking down, though. Bad Evie. I would quite happily slap my own wrists if I was teaching myself right now. Let's do a simple change and go the other way. Let's hope I don't look down this time. So his canter's quite steady, quite collected. It's a lovely canter, and he is probably the schoolmaster of the yard. He's been in my hands the longest. And then we come around and, oh dear, can't even manage to get over the last pole. Did you notice my upper body just went way too far forwards? And I did point it out on the day as well. I was like, oh, I just went forwards and that was useless. So looking round, shoulders at back and bottom in saddle, and look what a miracle can happen. So I personally think both Maggie and Titan could both do with doing a lot more poles like this. They don't really bend. If you look, that was much better, but still not bending in the middle like they would for dressage. Okay, straight onto the circle exercise and looking round. Oops, little funny stride, but again, good for him to just pick what his legs are doing. These are teeny tiny. It's there for them just to lift their feet up enough. We're getting a little bit forwards, but in all realism, he finds exercises like this really easy. So I'm not going to bore you with hours of footage of us working through this exercise, but you've got the gist. I practiced without stirrups. I practiced picking up the stirrups. I want to improve their bend. I want to improve them working over their back while we do it. And I want to just make sure my position stays relatively neutral and we keep a smooth circular line as we go. The idea about this exercise is just to really, really settle down into a rhythm, stick on a circle and keep it going until you can just do it pretty much with your eyes closed. So we finished off with the adjusting strides again. So we went round first time and I believe we got 5 strides in. Yep, we got 5. So then we just go to 6 next time round. So the idea with this is that they listen to you in between the fences. They're not running off with their head up in the air and not listening. You can close up the canter but keep the power going, or you can open it up. This really helps you out on a course where you've got a half stride to decide. And you can see we're nicely closed up and we've done 6. Now, this is Titan's party trick. He could probably get 8 in here, but he's not that far into his fitness work yet. So we're going to just go with 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Easy peasy. Now, do you reckon he can go 4, given he can get a 7 in there? I reckon so. Go on, Tights. Round we go. Open up the canter. Imagine you're out hunting or out cross-country. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can tell you we did get it. Right then, return of the donut. Have you guys missed him? I know I had when I hadn't been doing much on him. Poor guy, he got the short straw. It absolutely chucked it down while I was warming him up. He's soaked through, but then by the same token, he's not been clipped yet, so maybe he did deserve getting rained on rather than the guys who were both clipped. So, starting as we did with the others, just trotting round. This lad is so fresh, you wouldn't even believe it. I'm having to use my full upper body to make sure we're not going round as if it's a racetrack. But I am impressed. He's done next to no schooling and he is sitting on that bootay, which has not lost very much muscle at all. He is locking on to everything. He is a bit leery, but isn't it lovely to see the joy? And look at that. I'd say he probably did these canter poles better than the other two put together. They should be taking a little bit out of Mr. Donut's book. Right, safety first, check my girths tight, and then let's go the other way, I think. He looks so happy. He just needs a haircut. I'm hoping I'll be able to get it done next week. Okay, so a little bit the other way, and he's not refined, he's not got finesse, but goodness me, the joy for the job. And actually, he's come back so much better than I expected. The break's obviously done him a lot of good. Right, we didn't do too much with anything because obviously his fitness isn't as high as the others. So we quite soon cracked on to having a little bit of a go at the circle. And let's just take a look. So, little bit Larry, very keen, so I'm just doing 2 at the moment. And then we're getting a bit of a hop and a skip, but that's okay, just keep going. And another bit of a hop and a skip, and we'll just reassess, have a little pat, nice and calm down. And he's a good boy because he's been and he's had a canter over the poles, and then he can start again. And his canter transitions are better. And I must say, to say he was so unbalanced in the canter before, he's getting it. And he can really, really wangle his legs around things. So now I'm going to go on to showing you him doing the circles like Maggie, because again, he was a bit too forward thinking. And you can see he's just getting a little bit sassy, shaking his head, not really wanting to, but very quickly settling down to it. I think this is the difference between a chestnut gelding and a chestnut mare right here. You can see like 2 circles in, Donut goes, oh, okay, we're doing circles. Cool. And that's him settled down. And I've made the circle a bit bigger for him, but he's really softening, and I was so impressed with him just coming round and doing this. We did the exercise on both reins with the circles, and then towards the end of this he was getting tired, and we were really pleased with how much he'd remembered and how well he worked, and just remembering how trainable he is, really, to be honest. So not perfect, but we were at a very, very happy point just to simmer down and call it a day at this stage. So I did a few more circles, and then it said, thank you very much, Donut, and we'll do a bit more another day. And you can just see, just as he's getting a little bit tired, he manages to go over a fence with one leg forwards. And he did have his moments of excitement, but to be completely honest, it just made us laugh. I mean, what's he even doing with his legs there, bless him? So excited. And isn't it lovely to see the joy for the job? So yeah, what a good boy, don't he? I really have missed riding him, to be fair, and I'm so impressed with how he's come back. I mean, I know I'm showing you a couple of the naughty bits now, but where he just insisted he couldn't turn right. But I think he's got such an exciting season ahead of him. I really do hope so. So we finished off where he needed a good old bath to wash off. I couldn't tell what was rain and what was sweat afterwards because he'd been drenched so much. So I just gave him a good bath, and that's it for the day. I hope this was helpful and insightful into kind of how I spend a day training the horses. I don't always get to do all 3 of them through the same exercise, but I do find it interesting seeing the difference and similarities and seeing my bad habits as well. So good record for me, and hopefully useful for you guys too.
They keep saying I'll be fine, but how you know that I'll be there when it feels like I'm lying every time someone asks how it goes, and I save the details that actually mean something. Sun is shining, but the rain is welcome too. Friends are nearby, don't need another view. Time is not on my mind, but then it's you. Oh, I love it when the love comes around, and then I remember all things must pass.
And there we go, guys. That was my training session for on Sunday. I've just come to edit my vlog and realised that I didn't wrap it up. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. And I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.
Wake up, I'm not ready, let me have another day. Don't wake up, keep it steady, cause I'm happy, I'm not gonna wait.